What's up guys, my name is Ace, and with Modern Warfare 4, I have a suspicion that they're keeping something up their sleeves when it comes to the create a class system, and I wanted to go through this and explain exactly why throughout the video, and this is going to be talking about their Killstreak system. Up until this point, with the initial reveal of everything, all we've seen so far are Killstreaks. I mean, they've shown off our create a class screen, and they've confirmed that Killstreaks will be tied to each individual class. And with both of the screenshots we've seen show up for the create a class system so far, we have only seen Killstreaks appear. Additionally, for content creators that have played the game early, they mentioned in the build they played, they only had access to Killstreaks as well. And so it does appear, at least at a first glance, that that's all we're going to be getting this time around is pure Killstreaks. So that means no point streaks, no score streak toggle, no support streaks, no specialists. And I have a feeling there is going to be more than meets the eye to this system, and I wanted to explain exactly why, as well as my thoughts on this. Now, just to be clear with this is just speculation. It might be a little bit of hopium as well. So I might look back on this video and think, what an idiot. He thought there was going to be more, but there isn't. But I do have a handful of reasons to believe that there will be more than meets the eye to their streak system. And the first reason is quite a big one. For the content creators that attended the studio, they had a Q&A session and they asked about specialists and whether or not that would be returning. And apparently, according to the content creators that were there, while the devs didn't give an official yes or no, it was heavily teased that yes, specialists would be in the game. Now, of course, we can't take that as official confirmation because, again, it was just something that they teased. I wasn't there in the room to see how heavy of a tease this was, but from the sounds of it, I did hear from multiple content creators that said that it seemed very likely that Specialist was going to be in the game based on their response. And if that's true, this shows that the build that they were playing wasn't showing off all of the systems that would end up being in the game at launch. It's not a fully completed build, obviously. And I've had the pleasure of playing many Call of Duty games well in advance of their release, and this is very often the case where you don't see all of the features that are going to be in the game at launch. And part of that could be that they just want to keep some surprises up their sleeve, and they don't want to reveal everything all at once for the initial reveal. Or another part of it could be that the systems just aren't fully fleshed out and completed yet, and they just wanted to get a playable build together with a limited set of features that could still give you a good feel for the game without having access to everything. But essentially that point just goes to show that just because the build they played only had killstreaks, it doesn't mean that the final build of the game will only have killstreaks. Now, on its own, that's not really a good enough reason to expect that there's going to be more to it. So the second reason I've got here that I think there's probably going to be more than just killstreaks is in the actual create a class images that they've shared with us. We see the little section for killstreaks, and under each killstreak, there is an icon and then a number. And the number is pretty clearly the number of kills required in order to earn that streak. But focusing on the icon, it's a skull with a plus next to it. That seems to be indicating killstreak. But if it's only killstreaks in the game, why even put that icon there to begin with? It would be very self-explanatory without that icon. So why take the time to create this brand new icon? We've never seen this icon before. At least I don't recognize this icon from any previous game. So it's not like a reused asset. It's something they created special for this. What would be the purpose of displaying that icon unless there were other types of icons that could also be displayed there? So you have that as a differentiator. If it literally is just killstreaks, then that icon is totally redundant to be showing below every one of those streaks. You could just have the number there and that would portray the same information. So again, on its own, might not mean much. Perhaps I'm reading into that a little too much, but in combination with my other reasons, yeah, that does seem to suggest that there could be something more to this. As for the next reason, this is more so looking back to the history of Call of Duty. And at least as far as I remember, maybe I'm forgetting something. Sometimes I do forget some of these details. But the only times that are coming to my mind, at least, that I remember where we had our killstreak setup tied to individual loadouts, this happened in the original Modern Warfare 3 as well as Call of Duty Ghosts. I can't remember any other Call of Duties that did this. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure lots of people will correct me if I'm wrong on there. But in either case, with both of those games that had that similar structure to what we're seeing here in Modern Warfare 4, they also had the strike package system, where you could choose the types of streaks that you wanted to earn. You had your assault streaks, which were like the normal kill streak rewards that you would get in Call of Duty, many of them lethal, some of them non-lethal, and you have to get all of those kills in the same life. If you die, it resets, and you have to try to earn them again. But in addition to that, you could choose support streaks, which were generally non-lethal streaks, And with those ones, they also tended to have a much higher cost, but the key is they didn't reset on death. And then finally, on top of that, you had Specialist, which I'm sure most of you guys know what Specialist is, but instead of earning your Killstreak rewards as you go on a streak in the same life, you can earn more perks up until the point where you get the Specialist bonus. And then at that point, you can earn either like all of the perks in the game, or in the case of Ghosts, you would get a small handful of the perks in the game that you would earn as a bonus. So essentially with that, you become the streak rather than calling in a streak. But with Modern Warfare 4 going this route of matching those games by adding your streaks to each individual loadout, that could suggest that we're also going to be seeing the return of strike packages. And then finally, one last reason that I suspect there's going to be more to this system is simply the sign that at this point, there was no sign of a perk that switches your kill streaks into score streaks like we saw in Modern Warfare 2019. And there was also no sign of a kill streak score streak toggle like we saw in Modern Warfare 2. And that was generally a very well-liked system, and that's why it returned with Modern Warfare 3. People generally loved the kill streak score streak toggle. And so in my eyes, at least, I think it would just be a very strange move and a big step backward to revert back to a pure kill streak system with no option to earn score streaks at all. I know for me, that would definitely feel like a big step backwards. But then again, they have made stranger decisions in the past that made no sense at all. But in either case, with all of those reasons combined, I do think there's a pretty good chance there's more to this system than meets the eye. And with that in mind, I do want to talk about some of my opinions on the potential for having these systems. And the first thing I want to talk about is the idea of strike packages returning, where you have Assault, Support, and Specialist. And I primarily want to focus on the support side of things since the Assault is our standard streaks that's already confirmed to be in the game. And then, as I said, it was hinted that Specialist is returning, and I really hope Specialist does. I love Specialist. But on the topic of support streaks, where they don't reset on death, but they're non-lethal, my thoughts on this are I wouldn't complain if it's not there, but I'm completely on board with them bringing support streaks back as long as they handle it well. And what I mean by that is support streaks should be 100% non-lethal. Unlike the nightmare of the stealth bomber back in the original Modern Warfare 3, that was in the support streaks and it was quite a deadly streak. So I think that did sour a lot of people on the support style system. And then on top of that, perhaps something that's not too obstructive or annoying that you would see match after match after match from even a low tier player. Like the EMP, for instance, that was one where it was arguably a little bit much, since it could immediately take out people's much harder earned streaks that they would earn in the game, while also having a big effect on the enemy players because they would lose their heads-up display for a decent period of time. I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to that, though, if it were balanced in a way where you would have to have quite a good game in order to earn one. So you're not necessarily seeing it spammed by like 3 or 4 players every single match. And instead, it's just the type of thing where you really do have to get quite a few kills or quite a lot of score in a match in order to earn one of those. And you're not necessarily guaranteed to get one every single game or multiple times in a single game. So as long as those two things are really taken into account, I think support streaks could be a good idea. I think support streaks are great for the types of players that rarely even get like low to mid-tier streaks. And there's plenty of players out there that are like that. They're just not that confident with the game, not that good at the game, but they still enjoy playing it. And yet they miss out on basically the entire kill streak system because they almost never get any kill streaks. But many of them, as I said, they still enjoy the game and they'd like to be a little more involved and a little more helpful to the team. And they would happily trade off the ability to get kills with their kill streaks if they could just earn some support streaks to help the team out a little bit. And so having the support strike package just adds an entire layer of depth for those types of players. And especially if they end up going with toned down SBMM this year, we don't know exactly the route they're going with that. We'll find out later. But if they're going to be going the route of mixing more skill levels together in the same lobby, then I think it's also important to ensure that the lower skilled players don't immediately get pushed away and burn out because there's nothing there for them and they just get stomped on super hard. And something like support streaks is just that little extra layer of something they can interact with, even if they're not really capable of going on like a 3+ streak in a game. Now again, if it's not there, I won't really complain about it. I just think that it wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea as long as they balance it appropriately. As for the next big thing, and the thing I'm more concerned about here is what about score streaks? Like I said, as of now, we've seen zero indication of any way to earn streaks via score. It's just kill streaks. And when it comes to this, I think ideally it would just be on a toggle again. I think that just makes almost everybody happy to be able to choose the route you want to go, because some people like a pure kill streak system. It's easier to keep track of, and they just want to focus on getting those kills. And maybe they just play like team deathmatch, for instance. And in that case, yeah, kill streaks just make sense. But for others, especially those that play objective modes a lot, Scorestreaks, in my opinion, are far superior to Killstreaks because they properly reward and encourage objective play, and it helps tie that personal achievement and those personal goals to the team's achievement and the team's goals. Because the things that you're rewarded for on an individual level are the same things that are going to be helping your team out. Whereas with a pure killstreak system, those are not necessarily tied together in an objective game mode. That may encourage you to stay away from the scary areas near the objectives and instead get kills in some random insignificant corner of the map that's not really helping the team all that much. And I know every time this comes up, there's people that mention, like, what about point streaks? That's the perfect middle ground between score streaks and kill streaks. And while I would definitely take point streaks over kill streaks, I disagree that it's a good middle ground. I think score streaks are just far superior because score streaks allow for fine-tuning the balance of various actions and how much you're rewarded for those actions. So with score streaks, a kill on a contested B flag is more valuable than a kill in a random corner of the map. And that's something that point streaks don't really account for. Or on top of that, capturing a neutral home flag at the beginning of a match, that's worth less than capturing the B flag at the beginning of the match, or capturing a flag that was previously held by the enemy team. Also, doing things like shooting down streaks, for instance, that's properly rewarded with a score streak system, and that can't really be rewarded in the same way with point streaks, or at least they can't carefully balance how much of a reward you're getting for various actions with point streaks. That is until you start dividing those points in half or in a quarter, and then at that point, if you're already fragmenting those points, you may as well just turn those into score. So this is why I just feel a toggle between kill streaks or score streaks gives the best of both worlds, and it just provides that player choice to go the route that they personally prefer and the route they want to go. Now, if it were up to me, I would ensure that at least for objective game modes, score streaks would be the default, and if you wanted to opt out of that and instead select kill streaks, that's fine. But I know that's getting a little bit nitpicky there. Just wanted to point that out as well. Because I do think there are many people that play the game, like with Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. There are probably plenty of people that just never noticed that you could toggle between kill streaks and score streaks. And since it defaulted to kill streaks, they just played kill streaks the entire time. When perhaps if that were score streaks instead, those same players would have been more inclined to play the objective. And I'd definitely like to see more of that take place in the game. In either case, there we go. That's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about today. As I said, I think there's going to be a bit more to this system than meets the eye, and I do hope it's the case. If we do just go to a pure killstreak system and nothing else, to me, that would feel like a big step back. Now, of course, these are all just my thoughts and opinions, and I'm very curious to hear what you guys think in those comments down below. First off, do you guys agree with me? Do you think there is likely to be more than meets the eye to this system? Or do you think I'm wrong and it is just going to be a pure killstreak system? And second, what are your thoughts on the idea of potentially having support streaks added to the game as long as they're kept non-lethal? And also, would you be on board with the toggle returning so you can toggle between kill streaks and score streaks without having to use a perk? Just let me know all of those thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.